Hello, hello. Ooh, let me just put on the camera. That would be an interesting detail. Hey, everyone. How are you today? Thank you for joining me tonight in my kitchen. Let me just stream this down here. Tonight's stream should be fun. I have a couple things prepared. Today is my. I was on vacation these last 2 weeks, which is part of the reason I started this stream. But today is my first week. This is my first Tuesday having worked today. I don't want to sound like you know, given this COVID era, it's such a privilege to have a job that it kind of feels weird to complain about it. But it's interesting change for me. Hello, Oscar. Thank you for joining and being in the chat. I just want to explain the format of this stream real quick. The gist of it is and I'm surprised more people don't do this. I will record a couple segments live, and then I will later upload those as YouTube videos if they make the cut. We have very high standards on this channel. As I said, he in front of his frying pan in the corner over there. This is a highly professional operation we have here. I can't wait to get to a point where buying actual streaming gear is worth it. But hey, we got to start somewhere. And my willingness to fail in public is my superpower, which has helped me greatly. What shall we talk about real quick? I don't want to hop right into the first segment. I'm assuming. I hope I hope I'm correct in assuming that there'll be a couple people joining later. Let us see what's in the news today. Let me see. I hopefully prepared something. Actually, you know what? Since I have it in front of me, let me start by doing this. And of course, my window is not showing. I can fix that now. If I do that, I don't know why it does this, but now you can see my browser window. I last year I discovered Ground News. I'm sure there are other sites that do something equivalent, but they're basically a news aggregator, and they sort news sources by their left or right wing bias, and it gives a nice overview of when there's a story, who's covering it and who isn't. And actually, since I'm still warming up, I gotta say, Ground News has led to a really weird relationship between me and the New York Post, because I know that I think it was the New York Post that recently, like, basically doxed some EMT. Who also had an OnlyFans or something like that. I'm pretty sure it was the New York Post, and they got a lot of flack for that. I would agree, fuck them for doing that. However, based on Ground News, I will say, and there are equivalent publications on the right. I noticed that when there's a story that has a very strong left wing bias, like by that I mean that, let's say the opposite of this, like right now, 50% of the sources lean right. Let's say it was left, and there were very few right-leaning sources that reported on something. I would notice the New York Post was consistently among those few right-wing sources that was even reporting on the story. So that's interesting. But from the rumors that I hear, it's not that hot. So, as you may have noticed, wait, do I even have that? No, I don't have that prepared. I have two topics prepared, and I use the term lightly. Actually, that's not entirely true. One of them I feel weirdly over-prepared, but on this at the same time, I also think it's going to be the shorter segment. But I will grab a little water here. And I think it's about time to start because I I don't want to drag this out too long. Actually, let me do this. Yes, since I'm not on screen. Well, my let me just prepare this in case you missed it. So, uh, and I do when I do these promotional things, I do this like in the same logic as a show. So the headline, which is disagreeing with expert, is what that's like the main event. I'm gonna start by talking about Nazis. Nazis. So let me take one final sip, and I will just return here. Let's see what I will need. I don't think I need much of anything for this. Will I? Here. No, that's. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I won't need much of anything. So if anyone joins during the stream, for those of you just joining, thank you very much for being here. Feel free to chat with me. I'm quite responsive. You know, there aren't that many of you to deal with, so it's pretty easy for me at this point. So I will begin and yeah, and recording. Yeah. So let's talk about Nazis. But first, story time. As some of you may know, I relaunched this channel almost half a year ago in August after a multi year hiatus. But actually, this channel is roughly 6 years old. I started filming myself shaving in that bathroom right there. And felt the need to take a break, and now I'm back. But over this period, I can say that I've dropped some cringy takes, and there's more of that where that came from. I promise you. Come for the charisma, stay for the cringy takes. So that the specific takes that I want to talk about, they 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 accelerated as many things did during the Trump era, during Trump's rise to power, and they culminated in an event. You're probably thinking of it right now. Charlottesville. Ah, geez, poor Charlottesville. Honestly, like, first of all, can you imagine if people Google the name of your town and this is what you see? Just images of some events that happened. Yeah. So and this, yeah, the Dodge Challenger plowing into the audience here. Jesus Christ, what a mess that was. Now the thing is, I'm a big believer in free speech, and I still am. But my opinions on Charlottesville came to a head with my opinions on free speech in a way that I dropped a lot of bad takes. I recorded and published a video a couple days after the events of Charlottesville, but the I've learned things that I know now, and as when I get to that, as soon as I learn these things, I immediately thought of that video. It's down. It's private. I will eventually take a look at it. I've I've thought of an event that I want to celebrate by reacting to my own Charlottesville video, which is going to be cool. Oscar, let's see here. Yeah, I get that big tech is manipulating to Oscar. I get big tech is manipulating search results, but most people are going to Google. I mean, I don't know the percentage of people who use DuckDuckGo or Scroogle or whatever. But yeah, unfortunately, and we covered this a little last week, the big tech oligopoly controls the experience online to a far extent. Be that as it may, I want to first of all, even though in that video, and I still believe this, I believe I support the right of people to say things in public. You know, I'm as close to a free speech absolutist as you will find. Like basically, clear and present danger is my main benchmark. So the whole conversation on inciting violence is very fascinating to me. I want to cover that soon, but the as long as there's my rule of thumb position is as long as there's no clear and present danger, you should be able to say whatever you want to say. Of course, if you're doing this on someone's property, they can kick you out and things like that. And you know, as far as Nazis go, and we will get to definitions at a point. I think definitions will help us a lot, but I'll get to that. As far as Nazis, I support their right to gather and chant "Jews will not replace us." You can even have your little table where you give pamphlets, you know, raising questions about Auschwitz or whatever. But if someone if someone gets offended and you know, attacks you, although that's bad, I'm not gonna cry for you like I kind of did for the Charlottesville protesters. Yeah, so here's the difference between my mentality when I my mentality then and my mentality now. Two people that helped me greatly on this are Vosh and Destiny. Watching their streams, watching them talk to all sorts of different right wingers and reactionaries and things like that, gave me some key things. Before going into that, though, I will go to definitions. So there are two definitions that are relevant, that of a fascist and that of a Nazi. They're not the same thing. So for fascism, I base myself on actually, you know what? Since I have my browser here, let's pull it up. Wiki Robert Paxton. So yeah, the definition that I use for fascism, uh, I actually got this when I read the Antifa handbook, which I haven't finished, but in there they give this definition here, which is 90% what I use when I talk about it. So fascism may be defined as a form of political behavior marked by obsessive preoccupation with community decline, humiliation, or victimhood, and by compensatory cults of unity, energy, and purity, in which a mass-based party of committed nationalist militants working in uneasy but effective collaboration with traditional elites, abandons democratic liberties and pursues with redemptive violence and with ethical and legal constraints, and without ethical or legal restraints, goals of internal cleansing and external expansion. I have not read that definition in a while, but the way I use it, because this is way wordy, I could barely read it. The way I use it is the way I summarize it, first of all, I dropped the goal of external expansion. Like even the like, I can't think of any. I can't think of any actual fascist that has goals of external expansion. So I focus really on the internal cleansing, mainly things. Basically, if you're lamenting this long past forgotten era that has fallen, you've fallen from grace due to degeneracy, and you want to internally cleanse the degenerates to return to the past. That's kind of what I would consider fascist in modern parlance. And a Nazi is basically the same definition plus blaming the Jews. So if you're fascist plus Jewish question equals Nazi. You can be an anti-Semite without being a Nazi. You can be a fascist without being a Nazi. But I haven't encountered anyone that I would consider Nazi that doesn't have both. So, oh wow, I already lost a viewer. Well, bye. I'm conversing with you, but whatever. Feel free to leave a comment below. You're always welcome back. There'll always be a seat at my table. So anyway, moving on. That's the definition that I'm going to use. And the thing that is the key thing that I didn't realize then that I know today, and this is really embarrassing. But as soon as it was pointed out, I kind of felt like a fool for not realizing this. Nazis lie. They Nazis lie. You'll never get a Nazi to actually. It's extremely difficult to get a Nazi to admit openly that like they want to, purge the Jews or whatever. So it's yeah, basically. Okay, this is where I was going. So you can't read the internal thoughts of people. You can't read people's minds. So the thing that you can go by, the thing that you can go by to inductly reason what's inside someone's heart and soul is consistent patterns of behavior. So let's say that I was a comedian, and I let's say that I was a comedian, and I like half my jokes are about how LGBT people are degenerate, and how black people are dumb, and they can't help but steal things and things like that. That listen, that in itself doesn't really make you a Nazi. It's a fascist. Sorry, it's but it's kind of a clue. Like I've met I won't go into details tonight, but I've met comedians that will consistently have a particular group as the butt of their joke, and it's really weird. It's really weird. So as soon as I realized that, I was like, oh fuck, yeah, that's true. The people at Charlottesville, even though I knew they were chanting "Jews will not replace us" and are unadmittedly Nazis, like in their behavior, because that's the thing. You can only, yes, consistent patterns of behavior is one thing, but sometimes there's a huge red flag that although it's not proof in itself, you can kind of not walk by that and pay attention and remember that for later. Like if, let's say, this same comedian would, it's typically like really. straight and narrow corporate shit. And then one day they make this joke of, my friend tells me he once baked 6 million cookies. Seems a little high, don't you think? Uh, Again, that in itself doesn't make you anti-Semite, but that's kind of a glaring thing that you can't. I would understand how someone would not let that one slide. It's kind of a red flag. These long paragraphs in the chat are too long for me to read, but I really appreciate the discourse. I'll go over those later. Thank you very much. So yeah, moving on. The whole idea of the marketplace of ideas, sunlight being the best disinfectant, and all of those things, I still believe that. The thing is, though, although fascists, forget Nazis for now. Although fascists would they'll frequently use the veil of free speech to defend their right to be in the public space, which I stand by. I still believe that. The thing is, if they actually got into power, they would be the first ones to clamp down on everyone's rights. And it is a real bad strategy to treat someone with higher standards than they treat you. That opens the door to abuse. And yeah, like, even though, again, you can have your little anti-Semite march. You can have your chants and shit. But if someone, like, let's say I knew you personally, I'm assuming you have a good relationship with your mom. Let's say that I would constantly insult your mom, but in this personal way that's not like, oh, your mom's so fat. When she sits around the house, she really sits around the house. No, like something really pointed to you, to your mom. Um, if you, Although that doesn't violate the non-aggression principle, if you punched me after the 12th time that I insulted your mom in this deep, cutting, vexing, personal way, it's kind of understandable. And that's kind of how I feel about anti-fascists. Even though, Jesus Christ, I they scare me as well. Like, I think in the world that Antifa wants, and in the world that fascists want, I would undoubtedly fare better in the world that Antifa wants because I'm black, and if I didn't move, they would likely like just get kill me or beat me up or whatever if I didn't want to move. But having to walk on eggshells in this Antifa world, like Chaz or Chop that we saw this summer, that's not something I want either. I think a common position that I saw anyway during Charlottesville was the hoping that Antifa and the Nazis would just wipe each other out. I don't think many people would have cried over that. But yeah, let me just look at my notes here. Did I? So yeah, the core of what I'm trying to get to is during the basically I got duped by the Gamergators and like the Sargons, the no bullshits, and that kind of thing. Like, in the wake of feminist cringe, which got the SJW takedown compilations. I developed this group identity with these people that made me more more empathetic to the cause of people who would later become pretty fascy, or at least on the fascism spectrum. and that led me to say some really shitty things about Charlottesville. Yeah, but there's one thing that I want to make sure I cover before ending this. Like I just said, fascism is a spectrum, just like gender, and if you if you like make edgy Hitler jokes every now and then, it doesn't necessarily, even if making edgy Hitler jokes is a consistent pattern of behavior on your part, that in itself doesn't necessarily make you a fascist. And the problem is, if as far as publicly accusing people of being fascists, I prefer to err on the side of caution, because my position is, for every edgy libertarian gamer bro that you falsely accuse of being a fascist, you're making it a little bit easier for actual fascists to hide amongst the normies, and that is bad. I think that if you err on the side of caution, that will embolden them to the point where they'll eventually do something that's undeniable, like making jokes about 6 million cookies or whatever. So that's my position, and I remember a specific moment. I was taking a workshop, and I remember I had already seen a ContraPoints video on how to spot a fascist, which, by the way, I think she casts far too wide of a net in that video. I kind of resent it when people do that because of what I just said. It pisses me off when people make fascists' job easier, and by their job I mean just hiding their power levels among the rest of us. So anyway, after having seen that video, I was in this workshop, and one of the students there said something. I forget what she said. It doesn't really matter. But it was this. No, sorry, it was a guy who said this needlessly woke, super cringe thing. And that made me kind of like silently groan and roll my eyes, or whatever. And I remember thinking, if a fascist had been sitting right next to me and at that moment just said something like, "Someone needs to chill out, am I right?" That would have been a tiny little moment of bonding, which I would like fascists to get as little of as possible. So yeah, the if you want to punch a Nazi, please make sure that it's an actual Nazi, because even though what I read from Robert Paxton I got from the Antifa handbook, I'm pretty sure actual members of Antifa cast a much wider net than that, and that even making edgy even the edgy gamer libertarian type jokes that you see, let's say on Reddit, would be enough to make you a Nazi in their eyes, and that's wrong. But if they happen to be right about you and they punch you in the face, I'm not going to cry for you. So that's the gist of it. Thank you very much for watching. If you're still watching, please let me know your thoughts. Oscar Gonzalez, if you're still here, you can talk in the chat. If you want, you can come back and leave a comment below. Or anyone else, Captain D, I'll read your comments in a second. But please like and subscribe. I do these live streams every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, I would love to see you in one of these, and I'll see you soon. All right, well, I honestly, I give myself a 7 out of 10 on that one. And that's me being generous with myself. I think I'm going to upload it, but let me read some of these comments, because I'm very curious. Like, as I'm like, there's a show that I watch on Twitch that I notoriously rib the host for not interacting with the chat. It's really not that hard, but when there are like short little paragraphs like I see here, there's no way I can keep track of that while actually being engaged with the camera. Let me see here. Uh, Yeah, so listen, I this this is a topic that I can't wait to get in on, but I'm not ready to address this on stream yet. But the thing is, I unlike most people, I know exactly how unpersuasive I'm being when I make my case to people who aren't already on board. And the fact that just advancing a definition on fascism generated this level of conversation is a testament to how if you're I mean, what kind of conversation can we have if we can't even get our definitions right, right? And it's funny to me, like if you can't just accept a definition that you don't agree with and work with it anyway, I don't know how I don't know how you operate in topics that are more elaborate than like what color my bandana is or whether or not it snowed this morning. Like the deep political conversations. A lot of us have our identity tied to that, and if we can't even uh, you know, that's an opinion, not a definition. Like, I don't even know how to process that. It's weird to me. Like I love being intelligently disagreed with. So this is fun. I wish I was good enough to read all this on stream, but that's something. Oh boy. All right. Well, that was fun. Oh, James, how's it going? All right. Let's see now. I had another topic. Man, I thought I forgot to warn y'all, but I suspected that tonight might go long. But based on that, I might actually have to play a little Stardew Valley at the end. Yeah, for those of you new to this stream, I the basic format is I record segments live, which if I'm happy with them, I upload as their own videos onto my channel. And my goal is for these streams to be an hour long. If I ever finish early, I have Stardew Valley, which is one of the only games that is somewhat relevant that my computer can handle streaming without becoming either unplayable to me or unwatchable to you or both. So yeah, all right. Let me just prepare what I might need for this. Ooh, this is gonna be fun. I was looking forward to this. Uh, and hey, I'm more than willing to revisit the Nazi question. Hey James, were you here from the beginning of my Nazi rant? Um, uh, just let me know. Let me just mute this. I don't want to give y'all spoilers. There we go. Okay, good. Mm-mm. Oh yeah, no, this is good. Okay, okay. If I get it about here. Okay, let me just. Well, at least the commercial is playing to me only and not you guys. There we go. So 2213. Let me just get there. Yeah, that'll do. Good. So I'm gonna put that like that. What else do I need? Actually, I think that will be it. So, all right, let me take a little swig of water and we can record segment number 2 on disagreeing with experts. All right. Let's see. All right, recording now. So, how many of you know someone who is significantly dumber than you? And also, how many of you know someone who's significantly smarter than you? If you answered both, if you answered yes to both of those questions, this rant is for you. Now, there's there's a Trump supporting cartoonist named Scott Adams that I don't want. I try to avoid naming him because I would be naming him all the time, but he's very relevant to this topic. This this rant is heavily inspired by his work, specifically from his book Loser Think, which I read. I don't know, over a year ago. And in Loser Think, there's a case that he makes. Actually, let me just make a note for myself so that I don't forget. It's a highly professional operation here. Okay, so yeah, in Loser Think, there's a point that he makes is that it's basically impossible for us to distinguish between someone who is orders of magnitude smarter than we are and someone who's orders of magnitude dumber than we are. And he illustrates this by talking about his dog in the paragraph that I will read to you here. Quote, I think my dog Snickers believes I'm an idiot because I don't take her outside to play when she is quite clearly communicating to me that it's time to do so. Snickers knows she is sending me the let's go outside signal. She knows I see it, and she knows I am physically able to go outside. So if I don't stop what I'm doing and take her out, does she think I'm stupid? End quote. If you ever hear me say, maybe I'm the dog, that's what I mean. When having read this book, it is I wouldn't call it a reflex, but whenever I think to do so, whenever I see someone do something really stupid, if I'm on my A game, a couple minutes later, I will think, maybe I'm the dog here, referring to this story. To illustrate this further, I'm going to do a paint stream. Oh, oh, there it is. Da-na-na-na, man, a paint stream. Ba-na-na-na, man, and a paint stream. I don't have any music. Paint stream. Paint stream. Paint stream. Wow, wow, wow. All right. So, let me just get this in here. Let me make this bigger here. So, to illustrate the point that I was making before, actually, yeah, I'm in the corner here. So, you know what? I'll just work with it. So, to illustrate, let me just pick a thicker brush. So, let's say that this axis here is intelligence. Actually, no, I'm going to pick the line tool. So, this axis here is the number of people, and this is IQ. Let's say that over here is 100 IQ, which is apparently the average that like 100 IQ tests are designed so that 100 is like the middle. So distribution of IQ would make a bell curve something like this. Now, I'm sure a lot of you suspect that in actuality it's probably closer to something like this, which I get, but let's work with this. And you know what? I'm going to erase this 100 here, okay? Instead of 100, let's say that this is you. This is your IQ. You are your own average IQ, an average of 1, and you're at the middle. So to illustrate Scott's point, the notion is like I'm sure most people can recognize people are smarter than them, but after a certain like cutoff, let's put it here, everything everything after this line, to the right of this line, becomes these people here. God damn it, paint is so clunky. These people right here, these super geniuses are virtually impossible to distinguish from these people here. Let's make these red. This isn't a partisan graph. No Democrat or Republican things here. It was an honest mistake. I was planning on using different colors. But so yeah, the idea is anyone in this corner, let's see. Boom. If I do this, no. Yes, there we go. So if I flip this like that, there we go. So the idea is people in here, they look like they're over here. So it creates kind of a, let me put it on top here. It creates this time loop so that this weird vortex, so that when you, the observer, are looking at behavior, are looking at behavior, that's your eye, and you're looking here, it kind of warps around to where you're looking here, and it gives you the illusion, oh my God, this is terrible eye, that you're looking in this direction here. And what happens is sometimes if there's like a super genius that you know is in this area here, you know that this super genius is in this area here, and they do something stupid, you kind of wonder what's going on. So depending, like for a super genius that you like, let's take Neil deGrasse Tyson as an example. So Neil, let me just go back to black here. So Neil is right here. That's Neil. Right here. And assuming that you like Neil, if he does something stupid, basically both to you and the public at large, Neil exists in this kind of state of quantum entanglement where he is both here and here at the same time. So actually, you know what? There was a very public example of this that happened just over a year ago. Let me fetch that. How many of you remember the unveiling of the Cybertruck, or the Cybertruck in general? I I remember how crazy the memosphere went when, and I'm sure this picture will be here. Where is it? Wow. Okay. So first of all, the truck looks kind of dumb. I remember participating in the memes sharing how goofy the truck itself looks, and also making fun of him for that cannonball demonstration. Wait, cannonball. That. So yeah, I remember the goofiness of the truck, uh, combined with the failed demonstration of the bulletproof windows. I remember as I was sharing the memes, thinking, because I had read Loserthink at that point, I was thinking maybe I'm the dog, because Elon Musk, the general consensus is that he's a genius, and even if you're I've heard a lot of people say this. Even if your opinion is that Elon is actually profiteering off of the real geniuses, who are the engineers who work with him, just replace Elon with the combined brain power that works for Tesla, and this stands. So if you're gonna make a truck that looks like this, and sell it for whatever it costs. I don't feel like googling it right now. That's you know, are you where is it? There you go. Are you looking at uh, someone? Is the Cybertruck? Oh shit! It's the selection tool. Is the Cybertruck here or is it here? That's the thing that's difficult to say. And let's make this a little more personal. I lost my cursor here. How many of you think your boss is dumb? When I talk about intelligence, I'm not just talking about general intelligence. There's also specific intelligence about a given situation. How many of you have stood in the room while your boss was announcing this decision that's been made that makes absolutely no sense to you? Um, is it possible that your boss knew something that you don't? Is it possible that you're the dog? I just want to point that out. Food for thought. You can reflect on that in your own time. Drop a comment in the chat below if this resonates with you in some way. I would love to read about it. But there's one thing that I want to make sure that I cover here. Coming back to Scott again, since I name dropped him, I might as well just stay with it. There's a point that he made in a Coffee with Scott Adams stream, which is if you're going to agree with, like, here's the thing: this 2020 gave us ample opportunities to see how the experts can get it wrong. And I don't even fault them. Like it's a novel coronavirus. It's never been on this planet before. So it's understandable when something that's entirely new baffles even the most specialized of specialists. So yeah, let's talk about COVID masks. The reason I'm bringing this up is because in this Coffee with Scott Adams edition, he made the point that if you want to disagree with the experts, just make sure that your reason for disagreeing with them is not something that they're already aware of. And in the whole mask debate, it's pretty clear that it is not unanimous. But I would say that the majority of experts who actually study this stuff, I would say a satisfying majority of them agree that masks are a good idea. But people and this is one of the dumbest takes I've ever heard on the mask issue. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, well, masks can't work because the a virus is this big and the space between the fibers is like this. It's like installing a fence to keep the fleas out. Now, do you think immunologists don't know what the size of a virus is? Do you think that immunologists don't know what the space between the fibers of your face mask is? Like, of all the reasons to disagree with the widespread wearing of masks, to appeal to something that like they obviously all know, maybe you're the dog, you know. So that's one example, and the other example is something that I want to share with you. I the only reason that I oh great, more commercials. Let me mute this for you. There we go. Okay. Really? I timestamped it. You saw me timestamp it before. Let me just find it again. At least I remember by heart. Okay. So, oh, well, actually, those of you who were here during the stream, you heard me mention this gentleman before, a streamer named Destiny. A couple weeks, well, about a week ago, he published a vegan debate that he had with Vegan Gains. And I was thinking about this very concept that I described to you during most of this section. Now, obviously, this video is over 2 hours long. I'm not going to. Don't worry. Like it's almost 5 to 11 here, so I want to get out of here just like y'all do. As much fun as this is, but I want to mention to you a short clip that really illustrates this that I want to. Yes, Captain D. Vegan Gains is still around, and he's debating strong, and he redebated with Destiny. I want to show you this clip because the issue at hand was. Does veganism reduce your risk of death by all causes? And he dropped a study that he had read in the debate. And when Destiny read the actual text that's under the graph that Vegan Gains was using, the text actually contradicts the point that Vegan even brought up this study in the first place to discuss. So let us go to my browser here. I will not full screen it so that you can see both our pretty faces. Let's look at this clip.
The researchers mess all of this up?
Okay, well, they might not have messed it up. Maybe they have some sort of weird. They didn't want to report that I don't know, vegans and vegetarians had a lower risk of all-cause mortality. It does happen that researchers working on these studies have some sort of weird bias.
Why would they be?
There was a Meta-X. Okay, well, listen. There was a Meta-X study that was published recently. The researchers clearly had a bias. They basically
this is literally an Oxford published study. This is an Oxford published study looking at this.
What does that matter? Okay, so
it seems like I feel like the people would know basic stats.
Okay.
Wait, can you let me know in the chat? I think my yeah, the stream stopped, so I'm actually gonna have to do some editing. Let me just go back in the time stream. Oh wait, am I like not streaming at all? Wait. Oh shit. Well, I'm still recording, so I will leave. I'll keep recording. Hopefully, the stream can resume because yes, my OBS studio did freeze up on me. So I just wanna hope that YouTube catches up to OBS, which is still live right now. Wait. Ah, boy. Well, worst case, we'll go a little over. I see that my stream is still frozen here, but I'll see. Fuck. Okay, I'm gonna give it a couple more seconds. And worst case scenario, I'm gonna. Okay, there we go. Cool, thank you. So yeah, my my OBS crashed while I started this, but the volume levels were too low anyway. So yeah, I know my OBS Studio crashed exactly when I started playing. So let me just rewind to the timestamp here. Let's go like that. And I'll let it just buffer here. Okay, so fortunately, I was recording this. Obviously, I'm going to edit out this part, but we are back. All right. Right when I fucking start the video, OBS decides to crash on me, but we're back. So I've come back to the timestamp. Let me walk you up to this again. So this is Vegan Gains dropping a study about how veganism can reduce your cause of death, your odds of death, but in the actual study, the description of the scientists contradicts the actual data that they found, or so we are told. So let's listen.
I don't know, vegans and vegetarians had a lower risk of all-cause mortality. It does happen that researchers working on these studies have some sort of weird bias.
Why would they
There
be?
was,
So
there was a
so
Metarex. Okay, well, listen, there was a Metarex study that was published recently. The researchers clearly had a bias.
Wait. I'm sorry. I got the timestamp wrong. Holy shit. It was, oh, it's 2213, not 2313. Okay. And now I kind of, let me just go back here. All right. The real, this is a professional operation, people. Only the highest standards of preparation for this. All right. Let's go back to the actual video. Let's do this. Shit, I'm actually going to have some editing to do.
they don't know their own data, even though they've worked with these data sets for 2 decades and they're in charge of publishing it. They're wrong and you're right.
That's one way of putting it.
Okay,
They
that's all I
might
needed to
have-
hear. All right, what's your next argument then?
sure. Okay, dude. So you're actually admitting that you have no argument against the actual results, and you're just basically going off of what somebody said in the paper.
My guess, if I could find a guy that knew stats, my guess is you probably just don't know how to
Hey, this
read the
isn't-
confidence intervals.
No, this isn't okay, dude. This isn't particularly difficult. Very basic way to read a confidence interval is if the confidence interval doesn't cross 1. So if all the numbers are above 1, or if all the numbers are below 1, then that's a statistically significant finding. Okay, so since the confidence interval is 0.84 to 0.99, that's statistically significant. That's the only group that had a statistically significant reduced risk of all-cause mortality. It's very simple.
If it's so simple, then why did the researchers mess all of this up?
Okay, well, they might not have messed it up. Maybe they have some sort of weird bias and they didn't want to report that, I don't know, vegans and vegetarians had a lower risk of all-cause mortality.
So yeah, we would later find out that the lead scientist behind this study, or at least the first name in the paper, is vegan. So if anything, he would have a pro-vegan bias. But the reason that I brought this clip is because, like, I don't know stats. I vaguely know stats. I took a stats class in university, but the idea is, I took one class over a decade ago, many decades ago, actually. Holy shit, I'm old. So that I am not a statistician by any means. And basically, we have Vegan Gains disagreeing with researchers about their own data based on a really simple way to read a confidence interval. So yeah, it's the idea that The idea that statisticians would not know how to interpret a confidence interval, combined with after that he pivoted to maybe it's bias, although the lead researcher is vegan. Yeah, that just illustrates this point really well. So I wanted to share that with you. Of course, this is 1 minute clip off of an over 2 hour debate. If you want to listen to it, it is very easy to find. But yeah, do I want to share anything else with you? No. The main takeaway is again, if you're it's very difficult beyond a certain level of genius over here. It's very difficult to tell if you're looking at someone who's much smarter than you or someone who's much dumber than you. So if you ever see behavior that's really dumb, just remember you might be the dog. And of course, if you want to disagree on with the experts on something, make sure that it's not something that even a dog would know. All right. Thank you very much for watching this video. I do these streams every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. I would love to see you here. Please like and leave a comment below. You can subscribe to make sure you don't miss. No, it's frozen again. Wow. I wish I could troubleshoot this. I think I have a hypothesis as to why it's freezing, and it would suck if that's the case. But yeah, thank you very much for still being here despite the stream fucking crashing twice. I don't even know if this number 4 is still accurate. Maybe the stats froze and I've been speaking alone ever since. Actually, no. 2 people chimed in after the first time that it crashed. So thank you very much. I have no idea what the VOD is going to look like, but I do know that the VOD will still be here. Okay, yeah. So it cut, but listen, if you can still hear the sound of my voice, I love you. Thank you very much for still being here. But yeah, it is past 11. It is time to end this. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next Tuesday at 10. Later. Whoops. I meant this. There we go.